Hi everybody, it's Saturday morning and I'm sure you're probably all sleeping in, aren't you? I've been awake for a while. Welcome to Meals with Melissa. This is one of those funny things that I never thought I would do any sort of a food show, although I am a foodie, so I don't know why that's a problem. But of course, considering I have learned to live a healthy lifestyle, I try to make it a much more healthier version of everything when I do have something fun. So this morning we are going to do fast and easy recipes. You know, I really find it funny when I start working with somebody when it comes to nutrition, and the first thing I do is tell them, eat as clean as possible. And what they want is, they want a bunch of recipes. And my thought is, okay, you just told me that time is an obstacle. So I don't know when you think that you're going to start, trying all these new recipes. So my goal with this on Saturday mornings is to give you options that are super simple, that even you can make the night before, put them in your fridge, and as you're running out the door for work, you're already ready to go. And I'm sorry, my dog is like running around in the background here. So welcome to Real Life with Melissa, right? So this morning we are going to do breakfast burritos in a healthier version. Hi, Krista. Are you at work, honey? I can't remember if you work weekends or not. And we're also going to do an egg white version of like an egg McMuffin, but I just call it a breakfast sandwich. These are actually things that I started using when I first was working to get a little bit healthier and make healthier choices and healthier versions of things that I really, really liked. So I've already pre-cooked everything, just on the ball this morning. So we'll get started, and I will post recipes down below as well as macros. So the first thing we're going to do is a breakfast burrito. And honestly, here's the deal. Now, I actually chose some things to make them a lower calorie option. But here's the deal, lower fat it's not always the best option. Back in the 90s, and I totally remember this because I'm old enough, there was this whole kick on low fat because fat causes fat, and that's all garbage, though stop listening to that. Some fats obviously are not our healthiest options, but low fat's not always your best option because honestly, when it comes to the foods that our big food producers bring out, if it's low fat, they probably have added sugar for flavor. So make sure that you're checking the labels on the back of your foods to make sure you really are getting what you think you're getting. And if you're using MyFitnessPal, make sure you're putting them in there to see that it's fitting your macros, because it's not just the calories. Quality does matter. Okay, so let's get started. So super simple. We're just going to do a breakfast burrito. And I have grabbed just a regular tortilla. You can choose a low carb tortilla. Guys, it's still a processed food. And most of them still do contain gluten. So you're just going to have to take that into consideration when you're working. But I've just chosen just a regular tortilla. I did this morning make some egg whites, but again, I'm not against the yolk. Back to the low-fat bologna, the yolk is not necessarily a problem unless you're really trying to keep your calories down, which, you need food. So if you are just eating 1,200 calories because you think that's going to get you where you need to go, we need to have a talk. All right, so I'm just using some egg whites that I actually pre-cooked and scrambled. Super simple here. I'm going to add, now again, I got fat-free cheese. Not a fan. Personally, don't like the way it tastes. And I don't use a whole lot of cheese anyway, so when I do use cheese, I actually tend to use the real thing. But I grabbed some fat-free cheddar. Again, just to kind of give you options. If you see what works for you, that's the best way to do it. So I'm going to add a little bit of cheese. Okay. Now, one of my other favorite things that I love is called Isernio's apostrophe S, chicken sausage. And I love it because they have 3 different flavors. They also make a ground chicken, and it's all really, really lean. As a matter of fact, the calorie and the fats are actually lower than turkey burger. And so I cooked some of that up this morning. And it looks it looks like sausage. I mean, honestly, that's what it looks like. It looks like sausage. Now, this is the breakfast sausage. There's also an Italian sausage and also more of a spicy one, which I'm not a huge spicy person, so that one doesn't really appeal to me. But I'm just going to put about 2.5, 3 ounces of the chicken sausage on there. And again, when I post this with your macros, you're going to see that it's really not even that high in fats, especially for what it is, and the flavor is great. So I just made my little breakfast burrito. Now, as long as you're not using some crazy like mango salsa, or although that tastes amazing, right? I can use a little bit of salsa for flavor. You could actually add some veggies, some green peppers, whatever it is. Oh, mushrooms are great. Whatever, it kind of adds some flavor and some texture to it to make it taste good. But I'm just gonna add 2 tablespoons of salsa because that gives me 1 carb, and it makes it super simple, and it tastes really, really good. And you can make these the night before, put them in a container. Like I said, if you're running out the door, because most of us do because we're running late, you can just take it with you and eat it when you get to work. So super simple, really great, healthy alternative to running through the drive-thru, right? Okay, so I'm also going to make a breakfast burrito. That's one of my favorite things. I was always a huge fan of an egg McMuffin. Yes, I'm going to call McDonald's out on it. Egg McMuffin. However, and I know that they've tried to go a little more healthy these days, but your best bet is to cook things at home because you have complete control over what you're putting into your body. I can't tell what they're doing there, and it kind of creeps me out, to be honest. So I'm just going to start with actually a sandwich thin, because for 100 calories, I get 2 pieces. I get both sides. You could use like a whole wheat egg English muffin, but again, still got gluten, still a highly inflammatory ingredient. I'm just going to use what's easy, and honestly, it tastes pretty good. Now, I used to spray this with a little bit of, I can't believe it's not butter, because I thought it had no calories, but of course, I've learned since then that is not true, and so if I want anything, I'll either use just like a little tiny bit of butter just for, you know, some texture and to make it kind of wet, but honestly, I don't even need it, right? So I'm going to add, and honestly, I'm just going to use my fingers right now. I'm going to add a pre-cooked egg white that I already put together, and you know, it may not fit the bread perfectly, don't really care, still tastes good. What I like to use for, and again, I like cheese, and this is what I used to use when I was first getting started and just like I said, wanted a healthier version. I used to use a piece of the thinly cut, low-fat Sargento cheese, and I liked it because it was like 40 calories, really low in fat, and it fit, and it didn't come falling off. Now today, I don't have that, I didn't grab both, so I'm just gonna put a little bit of my shredded cheese on it, which works just fine. Now for my meat, or for my protein, I'm actually gonna use some Columbus uncured turkey bacon from Costco. I like it a little bit better than the Jenny O, because it's actually thicker, it tastes better. Yeah, and obviously turkey bacon's actually really good. It's a healthier version of bacon. My family won't even eat real bacon anymore because it's just so fatty. I can't do it. I'm actually gonna rip it in half. You could also use some fat-free Canadian bacon. Just remember that all these products do have a lot of sodium in them, and you have to take that into consideration as well. So now I've got my little sandwich. Okay, I'm gonna rival Starbucks right now. So again, you can add a little bit of flavoring if you need to. Just watch your spices, watch your sauces especially, because if you don't read the ingredients, a lot of times they do contain excess, like anything with creams is gonna be a fairly fatty option. And of course, the more fat that it has, the higher in calories it's going to be. Fat is a calorie dense nutrient, but also watch to make sure that some of your spices don't contain a lot of sugar, because they hide them, right? Anything ending in ose, anything that says syrup, yeah, and again, sugar substitute, we'll talk about that another time, but this gives you just some really super simple options, right? I'm actually gonna feed these to my son because I've already had breakfast. And look, I can just do like they do on Food Network. I can put them on a really pretty plate and make them look good and pass them on. So anyway, hopefully that helps you with some options. I know I keep coming up with breakfast options, but that seems to be one of them where people kind of fail. Also, because a lot of people skip breakfast. Guys, not a great choice. Breakfast is, you're putting fuel in your car for the day. You can't get in your car, have it on empty and expect it to run efficiently. It's gonna sputter, and at some point you're not gonna get where you wanna go. You're not gonna make it to work. So breakfast is a really great time of the day. It helps get you moving. It stokes your metabolism, gets you moving. Plus, if you're gonna do carbs, you know, you're better off to get most of your carbs in the morning. And of course, complex carbs, you know that, versus afternoon. So I will be coming up with some great ones. I was supposed to have a guest today. That didn't work out, but we will see him, I swear. One of these days we'll get him in. But every Saturday that I'm available, we will be doing this. Hopefully I'll give you some great ideas where you can eat more nutritious, healthier food, not the things that you see on media that they say is healthy and nutritious, because that's all gimmicks. But I'm just trying to help you become a healthier you. So have an incredible weekend, you guys, and we'll see you next Saturday.